Well, we all just got notices of the blast that's happening nearby.
Samantha, are you acting chairman? You can begin whenever you're ready.
Okay, great. We'll go ahead and get started then. My audio okay? Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Terrific. Good afternoon. My name is Samantha Biddle, and I'm the acting chairman of the Maryland Transportation Authority Board. Today is Monday, May 13th, 2024, and I hereby call the special meeting of the MDTA Board to order at 4:01 p.m. This afternoon, we're having this special meeting virtually via Microsoft Teams, and in accordance with the live streaming law, this meeting is being live streamed on the MDTA Board webpage. I'd like to say welcome to the members and staff who are with us today. And as a reminder, I ask that anyone who's in the virtual room with us this afternoon refrain from speaking unless you are presenting or answering a question to avoid background noise on the live stream. I'd like to remind all members to keep your video and audio active throughout the entirety of this afternoon's meeting. Presenters are to turn their video and audio on when presenting only. There are no members of the public, no elected officials, and no media who have pre-registered to comment at this afternoon's meeting. And for those who are watching this meeting via the live stream, we have posted the materials for today's meeting on the MDTA Board webpage. You can follow along there if you would like. And with that, we will now begin with today's agenda.
So Chairman and members, I'll start off very briefly. Thank you so much for calling the special session for this very important contract approval. I'm Kim Millender, Principal Counsel with the Attorney General's Office for the Maryland Transportation Authority. I'm pleased this afternoon to be joined by our Attorney General, Anthony Brown, General Counsel for the AG, Peter Burns, and Deputy Chief of Litigation, Rob Scott. And I'll turn it over to AG Brown.
Thank you very much, Kim. And I want to start by thanking Deputy Secretary for your service, your leadership, chairing the board today. I want to thank members of the Maryland Transportation Authority board for convening this special meeting. And as Kim mentioned, I'm joined by Robert Scott and Peter Burns, who will assist me certainly when it comes to answering and addressing all of your questions or concerns. So I am here today. We're here today on a matter of great public importance about the Key Bridge disaster. As you know, state agencies across government have been working nonstop since March 26th to respond to the impact of this disaster. And by our count, at least 15 agencies, all of whom are our clients, are involved in mounting the response. My role as Attorney General is twofold. First, my office provides day-to-day legal advice and counsel for our client agencies involved in the response. And second, we represent the state in litigation. And it's in that role that we'll pursue compensation from the responsible parties on behalf of the state agencies and the people of Maryland for all of the damages caused by the Dolly's collision with the Key Bridge. And it's the litigation piece that brings us here today. We have a great team of attorneys in the Office of the Attorney General, and Kim does a spectacular job in representing the Maryland Transportation Authority. But we're going to need to retain additional assistance to pursue the Key Bridge litigation. It goes without saying this will be exceedingly complex and potentially lengthy litigation. Under Title VI of the state government article, with the governor's approval, I have the authority to retain assistant counsel to handle extraordinary or unforeseen cases and matters. And on March 28th, I requested this authority, and the governor approved it for the purposes of the Key Bridge litigation. We then moved on a fast track to select assistant counsel, and today I'm asking for you to approve the state hiring outside counsel under a contingent fee arrangement. The MDTA board's approval is required because the contract would compensate the external law firm with a portion of the monetary recovery, if any, that MDTA receives in litigation for damages resulting from the Key Bridge disaster. We went through a competitive process to select the group of 5 firms from a pool of 34 proposals, 14 of which included joint ventures of multiple firms. A total of 63 firms offer their services to the state. The group of firms we selected is listed in the agenda item and has the right mix of maritime, litigation, insurance, and other expertise and experience we need to pursue and protect the state's interests in this critical matter. So we are prepared to tell you more about the firms, certainly at your request. But in brief, Kelly Dry Warren will lead the team. They have extensive experience with complex tort litigation. They're out of Houston, Texas. Liskow and Lewis is and has one of the largest maritime practices in the country. Downs Ward Bender is a woman-owned Baltimore-based litigation firm. They have significant tort defense experience as well as maritime law. And Partridge LLC and the Lanier firm, both small boutique-type firms, litigation, insurance recovery, maritime law, and they round out the team. As I mentioned, we're proposing that the firms be compensated by contingent fee, which means that they only get paid if we are successful in recovering compensation for the state. As indicated in the written materials, the percentage of that fee ranges from 2% to 18%, depending on the amount that they're successful in recovering and at what stage of the litigation that recovery occurs. And they don't earn a fee on the first $350 million, which is, as you know, the amount the state is entitled to in insurance proceeds, which, if recovered in litigation, will be subject to the insurer's subrogation claim. So let me stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And I also, as I mentioned, have a few members of my team here to help answer your questions. Thank you.
So much, Attorney General. Are there any questions from our board members?
I have a question or two.
Right, Member Von Paris?
Just a couple, just going down the line real quick here. First, I wanted to say tremendous job by the Office of the Attorney General for what they've done here. I can't believe all of the work you've done in such a short period of time. You all should be commended for that. I'm Member Von Paris. First question I have is if there is a fee dispute, is it subject to arbitration or litigation, and what venue would it fall under?
And I'm going to either defer to Peter or Rob or both, and that will be outlined typically in our contracts. And Peter, you want to take that?
Yes, our standard contract, and I'd have to get back to you with more specifics, but our standard contract for legal services follows the required state contract provisions for disputes. But I'm not remembering precisely what those are, but happy to follow up with you to provide you with more information.
Okay, thank you. What about appeals? Is there a win or lose? Is that part of the contingent fee?
Yes, this would include, their representation would include any appeals. It would also include providing legal services in the event that any of defendants go into bankruptcy.
And how about expenses? How are the expenses handled?
So the expenses, the state, just as if we were hiring firms on a traditional hourly basis, the state will be handling the costs of the litigation. So that is not covered by the contingent fee, although we would certainly hope, if we're successful, to recover some of those costs as well.
Okay. And the last question I have, obviously it's a high profile situation. I guess we've done our normal due diligence in terms of potential conflicts of interest.
Yes, we have each of the 5 firms as part of our standard proposal process. All of the offerors, including these 5 firms, have had to fill out conflict of interest affidavits.
Okay, thank you very much.
And I just like to add on the conflicts piece, you know, while the state regularly waives conflicts because the firms we typically hire, I mean, they're doing a lot of work for a lot of different parties. In this particular matter, we actually asked Kelly Dry to go back and find another local firm because the original firm that was proposed, which would have been a great firm, had conflicts, and I was not prepared to waive conflicts in this case. I want to start off very clean here, no conflicts, we don't draw any attention, any scrutiny. Now, there may be over the course of litigation requests by these firms for us to waive conflicts. We'll cross that bridge when we reach it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Madam Deputy Secretary, I have a question. Bill Cox, member of the board. One, as I understand it, Attorney General Brown, you and I both served in the House, and we elected the treasurer by the General Assembly. Does the insurance still go through the treasurer's office in this case, or it's going to be separate?
I'm going to let, I think, Kim speak to that, right? Yep.
Yes, sir. Yes, so our insurance still is handled through the state treasurer's office like normal. That process hasn't changed, Member Cox.
Okay, very good. By the way, Attorney General, she does an outstanding job being on this for a little over 7 years. She's a star.
Yep, and we know that, and thank you. She's doing great.
Member Carroll.
Thank you. Just to echo Member Von Paris's comments about the extraordinary effort and collaboration and coordination, we certainly appreciate that on behalf of all the on behalf of this agency with regard to all the other state agencies involved. My question is regarding the federal efforts that are at play as well. How will this legal effort coordinate or collaborate with our federal partners to make sure that we're all singing from the same hymnal, if you will?
Well, I'll take a first shot, and then I'll let any one of my team members jump in on that. The litigation is really separate and independent of the partnerships that you're seeing when it comes to funding of the Key Bridge, and whether, you know, the federal funding, state funding. Of course, as you know, President Biden has committed 100% federal funding, and we'll see whether that plays out. The partnerships around salvage, the partnership around security, and all of that. Those are partnerships. They're real. They happen every day. This litigation we will conduct independently. Does that mean that we won't have any engagement, communication with any federal entities or other state entities? We probably will. We most certainly will, but not from a coordination standpoint. We're going to conduct this litigation on behalf of the interests of the state. And if any of my team members want to add to that, they should.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Member Ardinger? I think you're muted now.
Thank you. Sorry. Attorney General Brown, thank you. And thank you to your staff for all your effort on this. My question is regarding the logistics, because we're dealing with multiple law firms. Will the oversight still come through your office, and will that be Kim that will be specifically overseeing the logistics of who's doing what?
Thanks for the question, and let me answer it this way. Kim is part of a 600 lawyer law firm called the Office of the Attorney General, and we have organized, and Rob is on the civil division. And we have organized in a way that, you know, Kim is the lead attorney. She represents MDTA, and MDTA is the major, the principal client on this litigation, although the litigation will recover, I'm sure, damages incurred by other state agencies, as I mentioned in my opening. But Kim is on the front line. She's backed up with 600 lawyers. We operate as a firm, as a team, and then assistant counsel work for me, which means they work for Kim. So any advice and counsel or any recommendations that are made regarding the litigation that you as the client need to be involved in, that will come through Kim to you. It does not come straight from assistant counsel. So Kim really is on point on this one, and not alone.
Right. Well, thank you for that. And as you can tell, the board has a lot of confidence and faith in Kim. So we're happy to hear that. Thank you.
I echo that from our perspective as well. She's been with us every step of the way. Any other questions from the board? All right, well, I appreciate everyone's time and thoughtfulness and considering this item. If there's no further questions, we can open the floor up for a motion.
I'll
So
make the
moved,
motion,
Member
Member
Cox.
Mario.
I'll give that one to Member Ganjemi. Second,
Second, Member Cox.
Member Keith,
second Member Cox. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you so much. The approval passes. Well, I just want to thank again everyone for your time this afternoon. I know we have some other milestones ahead for this endeavor, and just want to thank again all of our partners in the Attorney General's office for your time and support with expediting this effort, but doing so in a very thoughtful and thorough way. So we really appreciate your support and look forward to the partnership as we advance forward on this effort. So at this point in the meeting, our agenda is complete. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved, Member Carroll.
So moved, Member Carroll. Second, Member Von
Member Von
Paris.
Paris.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. This now concludes the special meeting of the MDTA board at 4:16 p.m.